Sprinter vans, trucks, and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to the Morning Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandiman Bailey Lowery. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in to a throwdown of Thursday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman Bailey Lowery.
Hey.
We got a lot.
Hey,
Bandy's a little bit under the weather, but he is pushing through it, and I gotta say, respectable to you, Bandy.
yeah, be careful of stuff going around this time of year.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that are getting sick. Of course, the Tom is sick. Of course, now Bandy's sick, and there's a few other people. But definitely be washing your hands. Be careful. If you got to wear a mask, wear a mask. Who cares? I mean, at this point in our day, of course, over in Japan and China, there's people wearing masks almost every single day, so nobody's going to judge you. Plus, we got through COVID, so that was a whole thing in and of itself. But either way, we got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. Of course, we're going to be hopping on with one Mr. Jonathan Liggett from Cherokee Ridge Country Club to talk a little bit about that tour championship. That is, I will say, it is an insane amount of money that is being thrown at that. At the winner, at the top 30, we're talking well over. We're talking well over $50 million. We're talking well over $75 million. We're talking about $100 million in winnings to be had at the Tour Championship. So I'm very excited to talk with one Mr. Jonathan Liggett from Cherokee Ridge Country Club. He might give us some tips, some tricks on his golf game as well, and how you can improve yours as well. And on top of that, since we got high school football going on tomorrow, we're going to get one Mr. Jaden Chambers on, a.k.a. J-Rock Chambers from the Sparkman Senators, to talk a little bit about his football career, how he's gotten to the point that he is now, as well as that big matchup tomorrow night against Hillcrest Tuscaloosa. But on top of that matchup over on Zone 5, or on Zone 4, you're going to get a bunch of other zone matchups, including Buckhorn versus Athens. That's going to be with, of course, Tom Abraham. Madison Academy versus Randolph. Randolph versus Madison Academy. One of those is going to be on 2. The other one's going to be on 3. If you guys want to cheer for Madison Academy, go to 2. Randolph fans, go to 3. Sparkman Hillcrest on Zone 4. Westminster versus Plainview on Zone 5. And Lee versus Bob Jones on Zone 6. Yeah, that's the game of the week right there. And then on top of all of that, Huntsville versus Mae Jemison on Talk Radio WZZN 2. Make sure you guys download the apps. There's a little bit of stuff going on, all right? We're having a little bit of maintenance to make sure the streams run a little bit better for your guys' experience. So if you can't find the stream on the app, go to our website, 977ESPN.com or talkradiowzzn.com, and you guys will be able to listen to every single one of the matchups there. Or just make sure you're following us up on the social medias, whether it's the Facebook, whether it's the X. You guys go over there and you'll have the rundown of every single matchup, as well as where you are going to want to watch or listen to these games. You can also watch these games over on YouTube. You know, if you find what is it called, Bandy? The Huntsville. I know
High School Streaming Network.
No, that's ours. But either way, you guys are going to be able to find it on YouTube as well. Just look up the matchup, and hopefully our voices will be connected to every single one of those games.
I think it's like by team basis.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of magic that's being done here in Alabama, of course, listening to and watching to all of your favorite North Alabama games, as well as just any game in general. You guys are going to be able to find it. I love the connection that we've gotten with a lot of these schools. Now it's to the point where, they all have social medias. They're all giving out their rosters. They got nice graphics. I remember 3 years ago, it was hard to find some of these guys' Twitters. All right. And that was before it was the X. But finding some Twitters for some of these high school teams was very difficult. And now it's to the point where, well, they got designated kids from those said schools setting those things up. And if it's not one of the kids, it's one of the coaches. And I love that we're able to get a hold of everybody in the high school scene. It's getting really big lately. And on top of that, the news for the Colorado Buffaloes is also getting really big. It's starting to kind of overload. And before I get into what Dion's up to out there in Boulder, I do want to let you guys know that you are able to hop into the show today and tomorrow during certain segments to get in your wacky underdog picks. Of course, we got a lot of games we're looking at for week 1. But on top of that, if you guys aren't able to hop on the show, you can also find me and the Bandiman on X at CPT Cool 420 and Bailey over at B Lowery 2016. And you guys can place your picks there for a chance to win, of course, our middle of the season prize, as well as the end of the season prize. That sure will be a doozy. Now let's talk a little bit of what's going on out in Boulder, because it's just gotten ridiculous. Of course, you guys have probably heard about, Dion getting upset with reporters, and then he got to the point where he's just not going to allow some of them to come and give press conferences. All of that stuff is definitely kind of wacky. But now it's to the point where the noise is kind of outweighed how it was last year. All right. Everybody was hopping on that Colorado Buffaloes hype train, thinking Dion would be the savior of this Buffaloes squad. Of course, in 2022, this team went 1-11, and that's definitely not what you want to see. Now, fast forward to the next year, they win 4 games. They start kind of losing their way after facing off against an Oregon Ducks squad. Now, you're already hearing about Dion saying, I don't want so much, of this limelight. I don't want the spotlight on us. And that's a first. Deion Sanders has always been a guy that's like, me, look at me. I can do this. I'm one of the best. And I agree. Back when he played football, I can agree. Deion Sanders is a spectacular dude. When he was coaching for Jackson State, he was the dude. There's a totally different college world, different landscape. And now with all the NIL, he was able to kind of make things work out. All the transfer portal stuff, he's able to go over to Colorado, grab most of his players, and think he can find success in the Pac-12. Guys, he couldn't find success in the Pac-12. What makes us think that he's going to be able to find success in the Big 12, which arguably is a little bit more difficult? Now, I will run over this schedule a little bit, but news has now come out that there was an investigation. Now, it wasn't the NCAA going and investigating, but it was the service that these teams use whenever it comes to, it's kind of like Huddle, all right? And there's a service that had to look into it for him because Colorado said, hey, we think that somebody hacked into our account and was able to look at some of our practices. And now you're already thinking, oh my gosh, it's another Dion or it's another Connor Stallion story in the making. The thing is, there's no evidence. There has been no evidence that anybody has hopped in and tried to look at it. It's becoming a problem. It's going to get to the point where somebody's crying wolf. And right now, I don't know if I want to say Dion in specific, but Colorado is kind of crying wolf to see, hey, these guys, they beat us up in the game. And this is a problem. This wasn't supposed to happen. But Dion, that's just what happens. When you play up against tough opponents, you can't just, see yourself going and winning every single game. This is a good Oregon Ducks team. Now, if we look a little bit further at their schedule, you could also say that, hey, Colorado, this is a team that should have won all their games. You're looking at Colorado State. Colorado State wasn't supposed to challenge them. Was Colorado State getting involved as well? Were they looking at some of this film when they weren't supposed to be? No. At least I haven't heard anything about it. But Colorado State almost won in prime time, 43-35. And that was kind of the motion on the tracks that kind of shifted. That kind of started putting that train on a little bit of a crash course. Oregon destroys him, 42-6. Absolutely obliterated Colorado. And then USC, a team that doesn't even have a defense. Of course, Caleb Williams was there, put up 48 points. Colorado put up 41. Again, this is the Pac-12 we're talking about. You're going to be able to have quite some success on offense. Maybe if you're not playing against Oregon, just because this is a full-fledged team. But then they go up against Arizona State. That's their last win of the season, 27-24. We don't talk about Arizona State too much. Of course, they had a few good players that aren't on that team anymore. But again, that's an Arizona State that wasn't really competitive last season. Then you blow an insane lead against the Stanford team that then won 46-43. You look forward, they lose to UCLA, Oregon State, who had DJ Wu, who, yes, was competitive in the Pac-12, but has already shown us that he can't be as competitive in the ACC, at least in his first matchup against Georgia Tech. And then they lose to Arizona, and this is an Arizona team that wasn't that good at this time. Of course, they were starting to get their footing. They've got a quarterback now, but now they're coming in, they're looking a little bit better. Now you can maybe make a point that, hey, this was actually a pretty good game, 34-31. It's still Pac-12. Washington State obliterated them. And then Utah beat them. And that wasn't too big of a matchup. You can't say that, oh, this Utah team totally outplayed them, because it was a close game, 23-17, not bad. But looking at what Washington State was able to do just makes me kind of think, how is Washington State and Oregon State left behind? And why is Colorado getting taken by the Big 12? Would this ever have happened if it wasn't for Deion Sanders? Of course, he's brought a lot of money to this organization. He's totally changed the landscape of the college football scene for this Colorado Buffaloes team. There's no way that he's going to get fired. He's not on the hot seat. He could go 4-7, 4-6 again. And he would still have a job. Pretty secure job, too. But now you're moving over to the Big 12. I look at the schedule, and I'm looking at a bunch of losses. North Dakota State? You think this is supposed to be an easy game? North Dakota State's going to be really good. I heard one of the guests who said any Dakota team, you don't want to face them first week. You don't want to face those guys.
Yeah, no, the Talking Ball guys had Josh Payton earlier this morning. Even though Josh is talking about how this is probably going to be a North Dakota State team that is on a lower caliber than what they've been compared to in the past. I mean, it's still a program with a big reputation, and still wouldn't be surprised if them in South Dakota are going at it for the FCS title this year.
It's going to be a great game, and it's one that I'm definitely going to be watching. And it's going on today. I wonder if you guys know that. It's a Thursday night football game. So we're watching that today in primetime, and we're going to get to see it, and maybe I'll be eating my words tomorrow morning. Colorado versus Nebraska. Say what you will about Matt Rule and this squad. Of course, they now have, Dylan Raiola on that squad too. So that offense is going to look a little bit better. The defense isn't too shabby for Nebraska. So what is Colorado going to be able to do? Shedeur Sanders, is he going to be able to really, carry this team this season? Are we going to see that? Travis Hunter is probably not going to be playing on both sides of the ball as much as last year. Then they go up against, Colorado State. Have fun with that one, playing up against a team that you shouldn't be, really competing with. You should be destroying. Baylor? I don't know where Baylor's at this season, but I know it's not bad. It's not terrible, at least. UCF? They keep dropping the drip like it's nothing. They're going to be the next Oregon. Give them a few more years. Best team in Florida right now. I can actually say that right now. Best team in Florida right now, until we get to see Miami. Kansas State? Come on, guys. That ain't no slouch. They don't need Will Howard. They're going to be totally fine, though. Arizona, you're going back to play some Arizona. You got Cincinnati. You can't even slouch on Cincinnati. Texas Tech, one of the easier matchups Colorado will have. Do I see them winning? I can't tell. I can't say for sure. These are all teams with decent defenses, something that Colorado never had to really face off against last season. You're not going to win against Utah. You got a top-ranked Kansas team for whatever freaking reason. And then you finish off the year against Oklahoma State, who went to the Big 12 championship last year. And without Texas there, would have been the champion. So how much are you looking into this Colorado team? Do you think that you can blame a little bit of the losses last season on things that shouldn't be done in the first place, some Connor Stallion situations, because Deion wants to do that. How are your feelings on Deion Sanders at the moment? Are you to the point where you're kind of just sick of him, or do you want to see him succeed? Because personally, I already saw him fail. Now I want to see him succeed. But with all of what he's throwing at us this offseason, the crying, the moaning, being upset that he's in the spotlight with this team that he's totally put together, he is everywhere right now. And you know what? It's the same as last season, but it's a little bit of a dimmer light.
Hey, you know my feelings.
I know your feelings, Bandy.
I'm tired of them until they can actually get results.
I agree with you. We'll talk about him every once in a while, but that's just one time I want to hop into it. This is the first time I think we've really talked about Deion Sanders this offseason, so we're going to leave it at that. We're going to hop into a break. When we get back, we're going to have one Mr. Jaden Chambers on from Sparkman Senators football. We're going to have a lot of fun getting into a conversation with him as we look forward to Hillcrest Tuscaloosa tomorrow night at 7. So look forward to that and more here on this episode of The Morning Blitz.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins. Touchdown! Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide kick off the 2024 season at home against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Our coverage begins at 3 on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The Huntsville Men's Clinic open in 2020 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Huntsville Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for years. Our friendly, discreet team of urologists and doctors will take the time to listen. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. We even offer treatments for size increase with instant results. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 256-368-0333 or go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures once again climbing into the upper 90s. Some of us could see the lower triple digits. The only thing that would keep us a little bit cooler today is that there is a small opportunity that we could see a couple of isolated showers through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Otherwise, the rest of us stay dry. We drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. Mostly to partly sunny sky for your Friday. Temperatures again climbing into the upper 90s. A couple of folks looking at the lower triple digits. And again, a couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN. The Zone.
I know, Bandy. I know. You want to enjoy this song as much as I am. Welcome back in to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery. We just gotten into a little bit of a conversation about one Mr. Deion Sanders. Now, don't worry too much about him because, that's a team that we'll be, focusing on throughout the season. Of course, you'll get to watch them play up against North Dakota State. Right now, Colorado is a 9.5-point favorite So if you guys did want to let us know over on the X at CPT Cool 420, that is my Twitter handle. You guys can get in on the wacky underdog picks as we hop into a conversation with a Sparkman Senators player that I've been watching for the last 2 years. And all I feel like he's done is just grow bigger and stronger. And now his drip has just gotten even better. That's one Mr. Jaden Chambers from the Senators. Jaden, how you doing today, brother?
Good. What about you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to tomorrow night's matchup. It's going to be great. Now, before we get into any of the nitty gritty, all right, let's talk about your path a little bit to where you are now. Okay, when did you start playing football, and what kind of led you to being the dog that you are now on that defensive line?
I started out playing football about, I want to say I was like 7 or 8, and I always played up. In a higher position. I held myself to a different standard.
Yeah, and was that size something that just kind of came with time? When did you start gaining that size? Because I look at you on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm just like, this is one of those big dogs. This is the guy that I don't want to line up against if I was on offense. So, I mean, talk about that. Did it just kind of happen out of nowhere, or were you always just a little bit bigger than the guy next to you?
Really I want to say when I was in middle school, I was kind of like short, but I had some size on me.
Okay.
But then as I started working out, putting on weightlifting, I just started getting a little bigger.
Yeah.
And I eat peanut butter sandwiches.
There you go.
Help it out.
It's always the peanut butter sandwiches. You got to have the PB&Js, and it helps you grow. I'm all for it. Now, of course, Coach Watson, he wanted to kind of challenge you guys early in the season.
Right.
I want you to kind of talk a little bit about that matchup last week against Spain Park, and of course this week's matchup against Hillcrest Tuscaloosa. What he kind of does to get you guys prepared for, of course, the region. Just talk about the challenges that you're facing and how that is going to get you guys ready for it.
Right. Well, I mean, our first 2 games are Spain Park and Hillcrest.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Spain Park. I feel like he matched us up against them first game of the season to see how we're really going to perform against, a high-level team such as them. But I feel like coming into this week, tomorrow's game day, I feel like we can be, ready to compete against Hillcrest.
Yeah, Brock Bradley for Spain Park was quite impressive. But whenever it comes to Hillcrest Tuscaloosa, you look at their players, you've seen some film on them now. And there are a few, cracks that you can see. Of course, we got to see them play up against Florence last week, a team that you guys know from last year as well. So you have a little bit of a better comparison compared to a Spain Park team that Sparkman hasn't seen since 2006. I mean, it's a totally different thing altogether. But Jaden, talk a little bit about the goals that you've kind of set down for yourself across this season.
Well, number one goal I would say for myself, I have set right now, you gotta learn to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hold yourself at a higher standard than others, even when the game might be going a bad way. You always gotta hold yourself to a certain standard. Gotta keep your head high. And one of the other goals, I at least gotta come home with at least 8 or 9 sacks.
Okay. That's what I like to hear. I was waiting to hear what type of damage you were going to do to some of these quarterbacks. Now, I want to know, whenever you're going to bed tonight or whenever you go to bed before game day, kind of just talk about what you're envisioning. What are you thinking about to kind of get prepared for the day ahead?
Well, first thing I'm thinking about when I wake up, is it's game day.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I'm
already pumped.
Yeah.
Early in the morning.
Yeah. You ever envision, to yourself, like, I'm going to get, 3 sacks the next day, or I'm going to get a pick 6. You ever envision that before you're falling asleep? Maybe you'll have a dream about it actually happening.
Yeah.
Feel like that?
Yeah. I feel like that sometimes. Or sometimes, I don't even think about it. I just go out and play.
Okay. I like it. Jaden Chambers from the Sparkman Senators joins us, of course, the defensive end for that Sparkman Senators squad. Now, I want to know, this is a big question. I kind of got a little bit of help from Tom with this, but which would you rather have? Okay, the perfect hit on the quarterback to sack him to end off the game, or final seconds, you want to get a scoop and score, take it into the end zone and win the game for your team.
I feel like I love to hit the quarterback more.
Okay. Okay. That's what I like to hear. I've always, it's a question that it's like there's no wrong answer, but of course, scooping and scoring, you like to go into the end zone. Of course, that's a very grand feeling, but of course,
Right.
getting that perfect hit on the quarterback,
Yeah,
sack him.
then there's more perfect than hitting the quarterback.
Exactly. Good stuff. I want to talk now a little bit about,
Right.
your teammates, the bond that you guys have had throughout this
Right.
offseason, last year as well. Kind of just talk about, your good friends that are on that defensive line with you and just the guys that really keep you going on that squad.
Man, I'm gonna start off with Jamarian Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's a great guy to be around. He's explosive. He flies around. He make plays even when he's tired. He's always ready to go.
Yeah.
Our D tackle, number 15, Sharif. He explodes off the ball. He's disciplined with his hands. He's strong. He's always ready to make a play too as well. Our nose guard, Skyler. He's real good at clogging the gaps. He make it look easy for our linebackers. And of course, our outside linebacker Murph. He's always gonna fly around places. He had 110 tackles last year, so hopefully he's gonna get more with this defensive front we have now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I like the looks of Josh Murphy as well. He's another one of those dudes you look at and you're like, this is a stout fella. All right, this guy he matches the rest of this defense. And,
he know how to play ball as well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And that 12 doesn't look too bad on him. All right, I like your number 8. That was one of my favorite numbers. But the 12 reminds me of quarterback. I don't know why I fancy it a little bit, but. Who do you pick whenever you play college football 25? I know you guys got a huge group chat for it. Just wondering.
Man, I'm a Bama fan.
There you
go. Jalen Miro all the way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And whenever you guys play, who do you think is the best when it comes down to it?
When we play each other in the game.
Yeah. Whenever in the group chat, if you could say who's the best college football 25 player we got, who do you think it is?
It's got to be me for sure. I'm pretty sure I got to be the best. I got to be the best.
Well, I like that. Your guy's quarterback last week, he also said the exact same thing, except for it's got to be him. It's got to be Jay Scott.
It's a good thing, Jay Scott. He thinks that way, but I mean, whenever Jay Scott wants to play me, we can set it up. And we can see who really is the best. I'm
gonna create some smoke within this team, just a little bit. Just everybody saying that they're the best at the game. Either way, we're gonna get you out of here in a second. But as of course you got into football at a young age, talk a little bit about some players that you've kind of looked at throughout your life that you maybe look up to, or you like nowadays, or you want to kind of replicate your game around.
Number one, I want to start off with my brother, Jalen Chambers. He was a big part of that. He helped me on and off the field a lot.
Yeah.
The second guy I want to say Malachi Jones.
Okay.
Man, he could play ball for sure. And I want to say Karan White. He helped me a lot too.
Good stuff from Jaden Chambers. And you bring up Jalen Chambers. Getting to play with your brother last season, of course, It was definitely a special thing for you. You guys were a little bit different in the way you played, but of course, still both big bodies ready to hit somebody or just, score a touchdown for Jalen Chambers. That was kind of the way it was. But kind of now looking towards tomorrow night, give us a little bit of intel that you've seen, from this Hillcrest squad down in Tuscaloosa and what you kind of need to do to give your team the best opportunity to win this game.
Well, the first thing, we just got a lot of play fast. We gotta be explosive off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta be just ready to go because they're gonna bring it to us on our turf, and we're gonna bring it to them, and we just gonna play.
No doubt about that. Good stuff from Jaden Chambers. How good is it to play your first home game of the season, by the way?
Man, it feels great. I told myself, man, I said, since they brought the NCAA in, I said the stadium post is gonna be crazy.
Give the fans one last thing to hear before you get out of here, brother.
Man, y'all go support the Senators tomorrow at 7:00.
Yes, sir.
Be there. Hear about it.
I'll definitely be there. Good stuff from you, Jaden. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Good stuff. Jaden Chambers again from the Sparkman Senators. You guys got to get out, see this guy play alongside, of course, his good buddy Jamarion Matthews. These two, I like to, compare them a little bit to some, NFL squads that I've seen in the past. And the one that I, of course, have watched the most has always been, the Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney kind of duo. You got two guys on the defensive end that are going to be able to rush the quarterback, both get to him at the same time. Maybe one of them get to him and then the other one takes him out. That's the type of defensive line we're getting to see. And, of course, Sharif Smith and Skylar Rice making that defensive line that much more scary. That's the one thing I've always praised about Coach Ronnie Watson's squad is their defensive line has always been stout ever since he took over. Either way, we got to hop into a break, because $100 million are on the line in the PGA, and we got to talk with one Mr. Jonathan Liggett from Cherokee Ridge Country Club about what needs to happen to get the big bag, and that's what's coming up next here on the Morning Blitz.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
College football tonight. It's a busy slate of action. 4 top 25 teams in action. Number 11, Missouri, favored by 47 against Murray State. Number 12, Utah by 38.5 against Southern Utah. Number 22, Kentucky by 45 against Lindenwood. Number 24, NC State, 32.5-point favorites at home against Western Carolina. Saturday, number 1, Georgia by 13.5 against number 14, Clemson. Number 2, Ohio State by 48.5 against Akron. Number 3, Oregon's a 43.5-point favorite against Idaho. Number 4, Texas by 32 against Colorado State. Number 5, Alabama, 31.5-point favorites against Western Kentucky. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative. Located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville, our brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, our diverse menu has something to please every palate. With a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, we invite you to savor the unique flavors of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative. Call 256-678-7036. The Brewers Cooperative.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. Can't make it the same day. My service call fee the next day is well. A 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hello, welcome back. Kings of the Morning Blitz. John Abraham alongside the Bandiman, Lowery show. Guys, you need to talk about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up, and that is definitely the truth. Just like our next guest, Jonathan Liggett from Cherokee Ridge Country Club. But before we get into his conversation, of course, about the PGA and that $100 million prize pool, we just got in a great conversation with Jaden Chambers. And as I keep looking over at this film, which is film that everybody could see at this point, of course, for the teams to kind of look over before they get into these matchups, we're going to see a lot of containment, all right, from these defensive ends, because this is a Hillcrest Tuscaloosa team that loves to run a little bit of the wing tee, which myself personally have a little bit of PTSD with, just because I'm a wide receiver on wing tee. But either way, I'm going to move over to this conversation with Jonathan Liggett as we look forward to the Tour Championship. Oh, golly, there's money raining from the skies. John, how are you doing today, brother?
Good morning, my man. Good morning. I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy to be here this morning and talk to you about the Tour Championship. And also, I was collabing, sort of, with YouTube.
With YouTube?
I'm not gonna say collabing, okay? They're not partnering in anything yet. But they did have what we are calling the first ever Creator Classic. That was a 9-hole little tournament before the Tour Championship.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They're getting YouTube personalities out to the golf course.
Absolutely, my guy. But we can get into that in just a little bit, because I kind of want to renounce a little bit on the BMW from last week and how, man, oh man, Nick Dunlap, a little 5 over in his round 4 over there at the Castle Pines Golf Club, Colorado, to put him completely out of anywhere close to making the top 30 for the Tour Championship this week. But Nick, brother, you're an amazing golfer. Go get him next year. I can't wait to see him succeed. I can't wait to see what he has coming up next year, because he is qualified for all those signature events. So my goodness, if you're a local guy here in Huntsville, a local woman, I don't care, be a fan, okay? Go check him out. Dunlap. All right, so Tour Championship, Johnny. Tour Championship. You said it, $100 million.
I spit out my water whenever I saw that this morning. My coffee was all over the place.
It went up $25 million from last year.
Jeez. So,
poor Victor Hovland's getting $7 million less. I mean, come on now. He won $18 million. You can't complain. But it just puts a little bit of different aspect to it, to how kind of to put things in perspective. How golf is kind of growing from one year to another. We're up $25 million. Of course, we're making these deals with the SSG. Okay, we did that last year or the year before, I believe. Get all this money in to kind of try to partner with Liv. I don't know. I think that's not even talked about anymore. I don't even think it's even in the picture anymore.
It's in the background right now.
It's in the background. So we just went up to all the rich people in Boston and said, hey, we need some money. So it's kind of cool to see that it's growing in that way, that it's growing it not only on the PGA, but it's helping the youth as well. A lot of people are like, man, this game is growing a lot. You can really go to college in this sport. Even if you're not the best at the game, you can still grow up doing this and have fun even when you're 40, 50, 60 years old.
I mean,
and a lot of money's coming into it.
Yeah, in the Tour Championship, you can be the 25th best, and you're still going to be bringing home $600,000. I mean, just talk about it is just a ridiculous amount of money that we've seen over in, of course, Liv, but now with the PGA to kind of just amp up the money. I mean, $25 million or $250 million more. I mean, it's just $25 million more. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous to think about in the golf world. All right, in the golf world, it's crazy because I mean, obviously, you go to MLB, NFL, it's not even close to what they're making. Okay, but when you think about in the golf world, yes, I mean, if you're getting up in these big tournaments, I mean, $25 million for first place for winning a tournament. I mean, you got to think, yes, you think about all these FedEx Cup points that you worked for over the years. We'll get into that as well. But all that work you put up for $25 million, I mean, that's huge. Used to you're winning $5 million, you know, in 1 year in golf 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love to see the growth of the game. I love to see that it jumped $25 million from last year. That's crazy. I love to see it, but I really kind of want to talk about what the FedEx Cup points really mean. Okay. So Scotty Scheffler, okay, he used to, it's controversial. He talks about it's like, why did we change the rules? Why did we do all this mess? And what he's talking about is used to the FedEx Cup points, if you had the most, you just win. That's how it was. They changed it to now at the end of the year, the person who wins the tour championship takes home the dub. But you can't just say, hey, here's your FedEx Cup points. The last guy gets first. But this is where it comes into play, Johnny. This is where the FedEx Cup points come into play and how we had our little conversation this morning. If you get first in the FedEx Cup points, you start out at 10 under par, okay? If you have not, if you haven't watched golf, obviously that's not how it's played. But this is the Tour Championship. You got to make up for those FedEx Cup points. You can't just say, here's your season-long championship, your season-long winner, and then have all these points and then have nothing. It's just, you just start giving par. So this is what these points come into play. So Scotty, of course, is going to start off here with 10 under, okay? Second guy down, Xander is at 8, Hideki's at 7, Keegan's at 6, Ludwig's at 5, and this is just going down of first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. But once you get down to 6, it goes by increments of 5. So 6 to 10 is 4 under, 11 to 15 is 3, 16 to 20 is 2, 21 to 25 is 1, and 26 to 30 is even. So over the entire year, all these points you add up, you're like, man, this doesn't mean nothing, but okay, here we go.
Now it does.
It counts as the Tour Championship at the end. So it's going to be exciting to see. It adds a little different perspective to a tournament, especially to one of the biggest ones of the year now. That is $25 million extra for the dub winner. So it's going to be extremely exciting to watch, especially here at East Lake, where they also have Tip Eagle greens.
Nice.
Tip Eagle Bermuda, which we also have at Cherokee. So definitely come check us out.
Yeah, if you just want a little bit of the East Lake golf course, but you don't have to travel for it, of course, right down the road, you can get on to Cherokee Ridge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But let's get in a little bit to who I think is going to grab the dub this week, Johnny. And it's going to be really exciting because I have a list here. I have a whole list because it's the top 30. Okay, it's extremely hard to pick from these, but over the years, obviously doing some research, greens and regulation. Okay, that's what is kind of the statistic that's pushing towards winning. Okay, here at East Lake. So. You tell me not to pick this guy, okay?
Don't do it.
It's hard not to pick this guy, but he's number 1 in this stat, my dude. Okay,
I'm not going to stop you.
Crazy. Come on, Scotty, man.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, okay? If you're going to watch the tournament, at least come watch our Olympic champion, okay?
He's got to be at least somewhere on your list, and so I don't blame you. He's going to start out 10 under. I mean, there's definitely a reason to pick him here, and of course, he's one of the best.
He's definitely going to be one of those guys you're going to watch that for, especially since he's so good with his wedges. He's going to be within 10 to 15 feet, probably less if he's 150 yards in. That's just how good these guys are. Yeah. But now I'm going to throw a weird name out at you. He also played in the Olympics. He's from South Africa. His name is Christian Bezendenhout. Golly,
set yourself up.
Really hard. But this guy right here, okay, he's kind of throwing me curveball, kind of like he's a underrated player here, okay. I didn't know him before he played in the Olympics. He's in the Tour Championship now. Obviously, I've seen his name, but I've never done any research on this guy.
Yeah, you haven't tried to say his name before, though. That's the thing.
No. I actually did the Google Translate and heard it and tried to remember it, but it's already gone out of my brain.
That's the way it works here on radio.
But this guy here, he's not showing a very hot year, okay, when it comes to tournaments. When I say not too hot, I'm comparing this to Xander Schauffele and Scotty, okay? Yeah. These guys talk about him all the time. But this guy, he had a second back early this year in January, and he had a fourth in June, okay? But everything else, he's kind of in between the 20, the 25 range, a couple 13s here and there. But the guy has been playing tremendously since the Olympics, okay? Even though he hasn't had any top 15s or top 20s, he's been consistent by keeping himself in the play, and that's what you want here. And I think that this guy here, he's kind of an underdog. I think it's going to kind of bring a little bridge to him, going to have like that little peak, that little mindset. He's here with the top dogs. He played in the Olympics. He's not a very big name. Here he is.
No,
Let's
it's a
see if he can
huge name, John. It's a huge name. Beuziden Hout.
Yes.
That's
He's
a
a
huge
big
name.
yes, but here's the thing. He's an underdog. Yes, he's a big name. He's an underdog, though. So it's not like he's big out there in the golf world. Yes, but he's not well known, okay? Yes, he is a big name. He's in the Tour Championship.
I was just joking. I was joking. It's a long spell down. Even Christian, all right, his first name has 2 A's for whatever reason. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean,
hey, Christian. That's
a little bit of spice. A little bit of spice on that name right there. Make it a little bit more tasty.
That guy right there, he's going to be interesting to watch. I definitely wouldn't throw him out of the playbook. But the last guy I want to talk about is between 3 guys, and it's going to come down to Tony Finau, okay? Tony Finau is one of those guys, even back in 2009 on the big break, coming up, seeing this guy even play from the beginning. His swing is magical, okay? It's not a very long backswing. He's very smooth. He's powerful. He's tall. If you haven't watched this guy, definitely come out and watch the Tour Championship. In the last 7 tournaments, okay? Tied 8th, tied 3rd, tied 5th. Had a miscut at the Open, really unfortunate. Tied 12th, tied 16th, tied 13th. Tony Finau has been on an absolute trend these past couple tournaments. You're going to see him at the Tour Championship, I think, make a really good comeback here. Maybe probably a top 5, even a win. I think he's going to do absolutely great. This is what he thrives in. He thrives with the fans. He's a good guy, family-oriented guy who's always out there having fun trying to cheer on the fans. So I think he's going to be a good one to watch. And then Mr. Christian, can't throw him out.
Yeah. Good stuff from you, Jonathan Liggett from Cherokee Ridge Country Club. John, real quick before we get you out of here, let the people know where they can come and find you and maybe play a little bit of golf with you.
Absolutely. So I'm located down in Cherokee Ridge Country Club. We are just south of Huntsville, about 20 minutes in Union Grove, Alabama. We offer private lessons, myself, Rob Taylor. We are a great course out in the boonies. It's beautiful, very quiet. Course is in great condition right now. Some of the fairways have some winter kill, but we're working on that, getting a lot of money back into it, getting back up in shape. So definitely come check us out. T-sheet's filling up, so you don't want to miss us.
Definitely looking forward to my next trip out to Cherokee Ridge. It's definitely looking beautiful, and I'll be able to play a little bit with you, John. But good stuff from you, brother. Take it easy. I'll see you in a little bit.
Always be good.
We got to hop into a break. When we get back, we got a little bit of time for you guys to get in. If you want to make your wacky underdog picks for this week 1 of college football, you can. 256-576-4977 is the number to get into this episode of The Morning Blitz.
It's freezer season at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out the name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. Best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock and ready to go or have delivered. Don't let all that high-dollar food go to waste. Go to Owen Home Appliance Center and get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get a $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, who knows land? Call me at 256-609-0512.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures once again climbing into the upper 90s. Some of us could see the lower triple digits. The only thing that would keep us a little bit cooler today is that there is a small opportunity that we could see a couple of isolated showers through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Otherwise, the rest of us stay dry. We drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. The mostly to partly sunny sky for your Friday. Again, climbing into the upper 90s. A couple of folks looking at the lower triple digits. And again, a couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I know what's happened. This song starts playing. Drive a Ford F-150. Welcome back in at 2 in the morning. Blitz, John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery, who is hopefully feeling a little bit better over there on the other side of the glass. Bandy, it's time for the Bandiman update. What's up, man?
I'm powering through.
He's getting through it. There you go. That's the Bandiman over there across the glass. Now let's look into a little bit of these wacky underdog picks that you guys can look into. Maybe keep an eye on this week. Of course, if you guys want to hop in the show either today or tomorrow, you will be able to. 256-576-4977 is the number to get on. But you're also able to find me over on Twitter. Find the ESPN, of course, 97.7 ESPN on Twitter. You're able to message us and let us know your guys' wacky underdog picks. I'm looking through a few of these, and I got to say, of course, it's week one. There's going to be some terrible matchups. But again, you know, you're going to miss out if you don't try at least. And, of course, we got to see what Jason was throwing up last week. If he picked any of the other games, there was a possibility he would have been bringing home some points. Even New Mexico had a chance to win that game. But, of course, that was not the case as we had a lot of comeback victories. But we looked through the list today. Of course, you're going to find a lot of games that you're probably not going to want to look too much at. Of course, everybody's going to be watching Alabama versus Western Kentucky. That's just a game that has so much intrigue behind it. Kalen DeBoer, of course, Jalen Milroe in his third season, actually getting to play some football with this team. Where's he going to be at? Alabama's a 33-point favorite. If you want to bet on Western Kentucky to win this one for the wacky underdog pick, you will get 33 points if they win, if Western Kentucky wins. That's a big if, all right? This is a Western Kentucky team that, of course, might not stand a chance. Now a team that might stand a chance is Alabama A&M. You know, maybe some of that Crimson Tide has rubbed off on the Bulldogs as they face off against Auburn in, I'll say the Baby Bowl. It's the Baby Iron Bowl, okay? And right now, Auburn is a 46.5-point favorite. You can look at that Fresno State-Michigan game. Of course, it's in Ann Arbor. But Michigan's a 21-point favorite, meaning there might be some chance that Fresno State could relive the Derek Carr days and maybe find themselves winning in this underdog matchup. Go down the list, get a little bit of closer matchup. Notre Dame versus Texas A&M. This one's going to be great. Texas A&M has a huge chance to win this game. And, of course, it's a brand new coach. You're looking at a 3-point underdog for Notre Dame. If you pick Notre Dame, then you'll get 3 points. Honestly, I'm siding with Texas A&M in this matchup because it's the SEC against the team that doesn't have a conference. I'd say the ACC, but, whatever. They're not really a part of it. But that'll be a good 20 versus 7 team. And then if you want, go even crazy. The Pac-12's gone. Oregon's still going to be the same team. They're going to face off against teams that are really bad in week one, and they're playing up against Idaho. And, of course, they are a 43.5 favorite. So, again, 43 points if you guys get that. But Idaho has to win, and that's going to be a tough ask for them. Southern Miss versus Kentucky is another matchup you could look at. There's 28 points in the pool for that one. You go down the list a little bit. We're really scratching for games that might be somewhat competitive. New Mexico's playing Arizona. We haven't got to see Arizona this season. We don't know exactly what they're going to offer. Of course, they got their new quarterback that I talked highly of last year. But right now, Arizona's a 31-point favorite. There's a lot of bets you can make, if not on Wacky Underdog picks, that you can make on, BetMG or, I don't know if you want to go on BetMG right now. There's a bunch of different ones that you can hop onto and kind of make those over-unders on whether these teams are going to. And I'd say since it's week one, look at some of these squads. If you're a little bit hesitant, you're probably right that they're probably not going to hit the over. Do you think Arizona is going to actually score 31 points over what New Mexico's got? There's definitely an argument there. USC versus LSU is going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait for it. We're going to get to see two teams that last year had no defense. Now this year, one of them has defense. The other one hopes to God that they've got defense because they're going to need it against the Garrett Nussmeier and this LSU squad. LSU currently is a 4.5-point favorite in Vegas. This one right here is appealing. Boston College, Florida State. It's an even bigger spread than last week, and we saw where that went. Florida State's at home, but they're playing another ACC school. 16.5 points, very appealing. Put it in the chat, guys. You can put it in 97.7's DMs or CPT Cool 420's DMs. Just say, I want Boston College. And you'll have an opportunity to get 16.5 points towards our prizes throughout the year. That's our wacky underdog pick stuff. You guys look into it a little bit more. Let us know and keep up with all that's going on here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level